All
Great,
right, I
thanks.
think. Yep.
I'll leave now. I think some people will join in a minute or two, but wish you a productive conversation.
Thanks,
Okay.
Max. Have a great day.
Cheers.
Hey, friends. Let's see. Can I hear anybody? Um,
I can
Brandon
hear you.
or somebody said, okay, you can hear me. I can. Okay, I heard something there. Great. I'm here with Reggie. He's eating breakfast, and my daughter's getting dressed, ready to go to preschool.
I like how Reggie always has a smile, like ready to knock out. He's like waiting for someone to give him
Yeah,
a reason.
yeah. He's a smiler. He's a happy kid, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah. We've been pretty lucky with our kids. They're great. They're good eaters, good sleepers, generally really positive. Aren't you?
Who do we got today? I think it's just me and you.
Gregory? Yeah. Okay. How's your there's Nartana is here. Someone. Hi Nartana.
Hi. Um, I was just kind of like interested in your project and I just wanted to take a look at your like meetings and then
Cool.
just know more about it.
Cool. Cool. Great. Well, you're certainly welcome to listen in and chime in whenever you want. This is a open community project. This group, the tokenomics group, is a group that gets together to try to work on. At the moment, we're in the midst of a redesign of our blockchain architecture, our tokenomics to really try to tie together the a functioning tech stack along with the regen token and make sure that the ideally, if our design works well, that the price of the token over time reflects that ecological impact is really happening. I mean, that's one of my main goals with the tokenomics upgrades. So, um, yeah, right now it's kind of loosely tied to it, but we hope to tie it much more closely.
Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. Do you, we're still waiting for folks to get on the call. Do you have any specific questions or general questions about the project? We'd be happy to start there before others show up.
No, I was kind of just going through all of the like projects that you have on board, all of, your
Uh-huh.
community. I was just going through the Discord and stuff. So I just wanted to pop in for a meeting. That's it.
Cool. Cool. Sounds good.
Hi.
Reggie.
He's really cute.
Hmm. Yeah. Hi. Well, Brandon, how's your work going with NetNet and kind of learning these tools and all that?
Yeah, the whole weekend and yesterday I focused on iterating on this ginormous GitHub. It's going pretty well. I have a pretty
Uh-huh.
cool dev flow. I
Uh-huh.
I scope out a few things that I find and I'll feed it in. We'll talk vision and whatnot, and then we'll plan out a bunch of units, and then
Uh-huh.
I'll type in unit number, and then it'll crank out that unit, and then I'll store it, and then I'll put it the into the GitHub. So it's freak everything I want in an app. It's
Right,
the
cool.
agent. It's going to be an agent that can trade, retire credits, and run a restaurant, and and execute on a STGs. sustainability development goals.
Did you say run a restaurant?
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
I want
son's putting Bad Bunny on.
to.
Are you turning Bad Bunny on the speaker? Sorry, we're gonna have to have a halftime show. Bad Bunny. Well, unfortunately, well, it's kind of fun for him. We have a speaker on the floor that he's able to reach the things and uh yeah. Anyhow, Brandon, that's cool. One of the things I've been running into that's challenging for me with this coding work is that, if I was when I've built websites and things using AI, it really works for me because I can build the basic thing and then go look at it and try it and be like, oh yeah, you know what needs to change here? Let's change this feature. Let's make this look like this. That thing didn't work. It didn't actually buy the eco credits and retire them. So what happened there? Let's fix it. One of the challenges I've been having with this whole project that, tokenomics adjustment is that I don't have anything concrete to go and test and look at and see, is that what I'm wanting? I feel like I'm just feeding all this information that we've gathered together into a engine and then telling the AI, okay, you know, go ahead and build this to the best you can. And then I have
Yeah,
no idea whether it's done it well or not, or whether it's even done it to the specs that is being called out. So I feel a little bit lost in this like middle world of, am I actually achieving anything by watching
yeah.
this my console run and run and run, and then it says, great, it's done. I tested it, looks good. And I'm like, okay.
It probably it probably is. It probably is doing
Uh-huh.
what, as hard as it is to believe, it probably is. Because that's how I was approaching it as well. Do you have like your own little GitHub for
It probably is what? Doing it right?
mhm.
I
But
really
yeah,
strongly disagree.
No, I
My
get that.
right. Especially
my
if we have a bunch of
experience,
pieces that have to fit together. Yeah.
yeah, I'm coming in late to the conversation, but so I'm not exactly sure. But uh, my experience with building with AI is that it is a very iterative process, that it makes tons of mistakes, and that you have to like do it piece by piece by piece and test it and figure out what's broken, figure out what it broke along the way, fix that, keep adding to it, keep adding to it, keep adding to it. If you just tell it, like, build me this thing, it will like, it'll tell you, oh, I built it and it's completely perfect. You're done. Hooray. And give you all this like applause and everything. And it doesn't even work. At least with some of the apps I've been testing and building and stuff,
Right.
especially if you're working with Grok.
Oh,
Right. And some of that process has gotten a lot better because it will automatically test itself and fix a bunch of the errors. And so it goes through a bunch of cycles, but it's still at the end, it says, okay, I've done it. And then I still don't have very high confidence that when it says it's done it, that it's actually completed the task. I want to be able to look at it and test it and try it. And even if it quote unquote works, I'm sure there's a bunch of things that aren't quite the way that I would have wanted them to be. And I want to be able to. So that's my challenge here. It's like it's almost like we need to you know spin up a whole. Well, obviously we need to arrive at the specs first. I was going to say spin up a test net, but then I'm like, well, what test net? Are we even going to do this on an iteration of Regen Ledger, or are we going to Um, is a bunch of this stuff going to run on base or another one of the L2s, or what, where are we at? I think there's a bunch of decisions, specification decisions we got to make in advance of even that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
did you
That's what
see
I was
this
asking.
discussion going on about L2s brought forth by Vitalik?
Yeah. Yeah.
Vitalik, I don't know how you say his name, but um,
Yeah.
does that have any bearing on your thinking?
Well, I haven't really been following it very closely, but I've heard some of the people saying that Vitalik is actually basically describing the original vision of Cosmos
That's what
now
I've been
with
seeing
his.
too.
So Cosmos is going down, and then Ethereum's gonna just kind of uh, become the interconnected uh, blockchain world.
It's so
Yeah.
unclear to me if Cosmos is actually going down. Like,
Hmm.
obviously, all almost all of the projects that aren't Atom, um, I mean, obviously, all of it has gone down in value, that we can't uh, dispute that. But the same thing could be said for just about every single crypto project out there. And with Bitcoin aside, and or newly launched VC funded projects that are going up because they're new and they're playing the game. Um, but this idea that like Atom is gonna like die completely. I mean, it's still a $1 billion chain. Like,
Right. Right.
I don't know. And I was just earlier looking at Neutron, at like all the development that they've been doing lately, and it's pretty massive. They have been adding feature after feature after feature after feature to their app and getting into all this, BTC Fi stuff. And like, I just don't think that these people would be continuing to build and continuing to like do all this stuff if they like didn't know something about the longevity of what they're involved in. That's my take on it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think you're right. I think there's a role for, especially as the bridges have become more useful and dependable, that that projects built on the Cosmos SDK can still do their thing and still thrive. Even if the Ethereum world is the one that ends up dominating the the market share. So yeah, I don't think it's going to go away, but it certainly has lost its luster, it seems. It's
yeah, I mean,
there.
it's this weird, sad combination of market timing on the launch of everything, the implosion of UST, the market in general, and then that's the way I see it. It was just like one thing after another that just well, and then everything being paired with Osmo, like it's like people didn't learn from Sushi Swap and Pancake Swap and every other token that got paired with a DEX token. It's like they were like, oh no, this time it's going to work. Because sometimes those tokens did have a huge, I mean, even Osmo, it had a massive run up. It was just really fast and it was like, holy shit, it just went from $1 to like $11. And then it was like, the never ending grind down, like, oh, it's gonna come back, it's gonna come back, it's gonna come back, it's gonna come back. But I don't know. Like I use all these other apps out there and I'm just like, God, everything in Cosmos just works so much better. How can it be this way that it's like that it can't attract liquidity? But I don't know. So what are
Yeah.
you working on building? You're saying you're using AI to spin up like a tokenomics like dashboard or an actual chain or
Well, to be honest, I have been practicing with these tools doing other things that are much more clear in my own mind, you know. So
Mhm.
like as of 3 weeks ago, I hadn't really done any vibe coding at all, you know, or any like very little developer type work at all because I'm not a coder, I'm not an engineer, right? But I've been following the process of AI and hearing how it's getting easier and easier and easier, and then some of the people I've been following recently have just been like, just in the last couple of months, it's completely turned this corner where anyone can do it now. You've got an idea of something that you need for your family, some tool that you want to use, um, some way of recording, information that you need to record how your family, is managing your land and managing your healthcare and whatever. You can just build the thing so that you can just record it off your phone, and then, so I've been like messing around with those things. A
Mm.
couple weeks ago, I built this like jokey website for the Super Bowl party that I was going to. Like, this is going to be my first project. I'm going to build like a 5-page website with a pool so everyone can bet $2 on what the score is going to be, and have this just like to crack my friends up, basically. And within 2 hours I built this like 90s arcade looking fun website. It was cool, and it was very clear to me how I can interact with that. I wrote the specs with ChatGPT. I fed it the cloud code. Cloud code then built it and deployed it. And then I could look at it and be like, oh, but that's not quite right. I want you to change this. And it changed it. And I want you to
So
change this. And it changed
where
it.
did it
And
deploy
it was
it?
very, very,
Did it deploy it to Vercel or
on Netlify
okay.
or Netlify or whatever, however you
Mhm.
describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very similar.
Yeah. So I didn't even buy a domain. I just used a Netlify domain, and it was a cool first project.
And so did you have to
And then
create an account with Netlify?
no, in this case, no, I didn't. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, they allow. There's a free tier that doesn't even require registration or anything.
Oh,
That
wow. That's
yeah,
pretty
if
crazy.
there's yeah, and then I did have to create an account with. I can't remember what it was, but there's some data that needed to be stored. Like when people entered their guesses for the score of the football game in there, it got stored in a little database somewhere. So there was a database service that I had to register for, but it was also the free tier. It was such a little amount of data that it was free. So it just routed it through that and then went to Netlify, and so that was cool. And then more recently, I've been working on building uh, this like second brain app, right? And I follow this guy that somebody shared in one of these channels here,
I think
who's
that
just
was
talking
me.
about how you can. What's that? Yeah, Brandon, did you share it or Gregory shared it?
Uh, it was me. I think it was Nate Jones, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. So I've been playing around with that, and it's, we're at a working prototype where I can just leave a voice message in my phone about any individual detail in my life, starting out with little to-dos, like I need to contact my IRA to change the, so and so. I need to remember that we have dentist on Thursday, and I just feed it in there, and then it automatically categorizes it into these zones, puts a date, and then every morning I get this little digest that's the little reminders. It kind of tries to build a little to-do thing for me, and then and the way that I want it to be is I want to feed it into well, I don't need to go too deep in this, but eventually I want to feed it into Notebook LM, and then like on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, have it give me a little podcast because I much more prefer listening to a little storytelling about what is happening, what it needs to be done. And it can say you're coming into the spring. You on your property in Deming, Washington. These are the important things that are going to be coming up. Start preparing for mulching your garden, and if you haven't pruned your orchard trees yet, you better do that because we're quickly running to the time where it's going to be too late. Just like little things like that. So I've been trying to grow my skills with these. I started using anti-gravity, though I very quickly ran out of my token limit there, and now I'm stuck. I guess I have to pay Google if I want to use
You can
more.
use with the Claude. You can use Opus or Sonnet or Gemini Flash. So with you'll have more token limits.
I used all those with the free level that they gave me, and then I could not figure out how to connect my account so that I can
Oh,
use
got
the
it.
fact that I already have an Opus account.
It may not.
And
True. They may not. Yeah. They
yeah,
might have it
they really
engineered to force you to pay. Yeah.
exactly. They want you to pay Google to get those tokens, even if you're buying Opus, even if you're buying Claude tokens. So uh so anyhow, so I've stopped using anti-gravity now because I'm stuck there and back into Cloud Code in the terminal. But anyway, Gregory, I don't know if you were on the call at the beginning, but what I was saying is I feel like I'm in a little bit of in this like walking through mud with trying to help with this tokenomics project, because for me it's so clear when I work with AI to produce a website, then I can look at the website and see, what does it look like? What do I like? What do I don't like? What do I need to change? And then I can go back and I can say, we need to change all of these things. And it can go and do it. And they're like, yep, it did it. That's cool. It works. And I can test it. But where we're at with all the tokenomic stuff is we're just in this more theoretical specking out this big broad thing, and there's a lot of things that need to be specced out, but it's hard for me to hold it all in my mind about, are these things all connecting together? And so I'm kind of
Did you
unclear how to contribute.
Did you review? I mean, this is exactly why I attempted to build out the agentic tokenomics repo on GitHub, and I shared it. And it has sort of like ordering and organizing frameworks for all of the things that everybody has talked about doing, and an attempt to build like the relationships between them such that, and my idea was that individuals or small groups could pick out sub-tickets and work on specific mechanisms or specific pieces of it, so that then with those specific pieces, it's clear what the relationship is with the whole, but also you could get to have a vibe coding experience like you're talking about, where you can kind of build it in a way where you can check stuff.
But I guess I'm unclear how I can check it. Like if for example we're working on, we're talking about a full rebuild of proof of authority and
maybe
tracking people's contributions and yeah,
maybe
right. But and then
you have to
staking
assess
rewards going to contributors and all this stuff.
I would lean into AI, but I would use that as what I'm asking for everybody is to keep upgrading that meta specification system, and then create meta prompt recursions that allow you to get to the level of specification on a specific thing that maintains integrity with the interrelatedness with other things and tracks it, because AI is really good at that, while also producing while also working to specify. I think it's 100% a specification issue, that we're not yet at a stage where we're well enough specified because of the complexity to be successful quite yet. So I think what you're experiencing, I experienced, and we're all experiencing. So I think we have to sort of like march through the levels of that and just keep trying to specify, but we need a central repo. We need a central meta specification that everything else relates to. And so that's what I was trying to attempt to create, because there's interrelationships all over the place, right? And if we just unleash vibe coding for like a website or like a trading agent or something like that, it might produce something interesting, but it isn't going to necessarily get us where we need to go. So that was my first attempt. I'd really love it if humans read it, right? And also if you have your agents read it, right? And I'd love it if people did, pull requests or comments. I'd also love it if when you're working on something, you nest it. Like there's a numbering system, right? And a layering system. So there's layers and numbers about that can help us keep track in that central repo when we're doing a project. Like for instance, if you wanted to dig into proof of authority, right? You could start, the way to dig into proof of authority is not to start vibe coding proof of authority. It's to run a deep research prompt on existing projects with proof of authority. And existing approaches and timelines for inclusion with the SDK, et cetera, as well as pros and cons with simple approaches, and then share that information essentially in the repo, right? And get comments and upgrade, and then move to the next layer of specifying, for instance. Equally so, my opinion is if we're, there's some pieces. Sorry, I'm just driving here. So, I'll pause there because I think that's a concrete example that you brought up. But I don't think I think there's more specification and research that needs to happen to get to the point to start, implementing
Actually
proof of authority.
coding. Yeah.
Whereas
of course,
there are places where there's interfaces, like there's a bunch of cool vibe coding opportunities to just build out an interface toy that allows you to see eco credits or to mint eco credits or to have a new wrapper on DAO teams or something like that. Stuff's all tightly constrained enough, honestly, that we could be experimenting with just more like I'm building a website that allows somebody to run reporting on a eco credit.
Yeah.
Right? I actually think that's the type of thing where we could have agents kind of like unleash, because of the level of documentation and specificity there is much more constrained.
Yeah. Well, that's helpful. That's helpful. I'm gonna what I hear you saying, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna dig into your repo that you shared in the forum, right? Is that where you shared it?
I did share it in the forum. I also shared it in Telegram.
Okay.
If you go to REGEN-network on GitHub, it is a public repo, and it's just called Agentic Tokenomics. That's what it's called. So you can also just grab it off of GitHub. It's near the top of our repos. Brandon did a review. I integrated a bunch of his concepts. There were some learnings there. His review, and so he did like a massive PR to pull request. It was probably a little too big.
Sure, right. Which is a good lesson. Pull requests should be little small bits, right? So that people can look at the small bit and say, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. So we can accept that one."
Yeah.
Is that a better practice?
Creating clear definition, because otherwise, I was able to parse it, but it took me quite a while.
I spent I spent some
Go ahead.
time with all three repos. Did like a few hours of just I mean, at the same time I'm figuring out how I'm running this development loop.
Me too.
But yeah, I interacted with all three repos at the same exact time. That was that probably contributed to the massiveness and complexity
Math
because
if you want.
I'm under the impression that if you just like I just let it do its thing for the most part, and I read what I can, but I'm trying to let it do as much as it wants based on what I say, and then once we get it to a nice point where everyone can review, it's meant to make itself more digestible, um, just because of how the whole thing works. Every time you take a repo or some state, you feed it in, and it's gonna make it as digestible as possible. So I just figured I'd press on the gas for that first try. Um, and so instead of doing that towards those repos in particular, I've done them towards this one project that net that is meant to do all things that I want out of a digital experience. And Region Network is a huge part of that, for building trust and agency for agents with retirement of credits, and um, as well as greater economic uh, things that tie in, the eco credit project like development, as well as a restaurant that I was telling Christian. I mean, just something for it to root, something that I want. I want to go out to eat to a restaurant, so I'm trying to link those two, all three of these things together in one workflow. It's supposed to eventually have a heartbeat to do contributions and reviews of anything Region has its mind on developing. So getting a Claude bot up and running is like the priority of the whole net development so
Careful.
that it can.
Be careful. You should read Awaki's. Awaki just did a bunch of tweets about his experiment with Claude, Open Claude,
Hmm.
OpenClaw.
Hmm.
Um,
I've been following it.
okay, good. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a little. I would also. I don't know if Sean's on here, but Sean also built a agent social network framework before Moltbot came out and before Claude. I would just like. I think we could do better than OpenClaw probably, for safety. Like if we're engineering for our use case and sort of like safety and harmonization between agents and kind of like a core, my sense is we could probably take a lot from that code base, but also for like crypto native agent orchestration, I am pretty convinced it's not. It needs like a lot of work. You have to be very careful. It's very likely to expose secrets, private keys,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
other things that you don't want exposed.
Yeah.
And
And I'm provisioning for that.
and by the way, we have Koi. I would just advise everybody should be leaning hard into the knowledge organizing infrastructure because it is an incredibly advanced, sophisticated base level for permissioning information and then putting agents into that framework. And we already have that MCP and other things. So anyway, I would just say from an architectural perspective, we should be leaning into embedding agents into Koi because I think it has the requisite capacities to manage information flow, secrets, privacy permissions in a safe way, while also, I think, getting the sort of like omni output sort of capabilities that are so exciting, frankly, about OpenClaw and like what it's pointing towards.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. And a lot of the design work was very, very conservative, and I developed a unit. One of the last units I developed before committing everything for NetNet was the regen registry um, map out with Koi and whatnot. Um, gonna be using base chain, regen network chain, mega ETH. It's gonna use everything to provide retirements for one, and two, just orchestration and coordination for a lot of the work, especially the DevOps. That's like the easiest one, I think, because you just need it to con with a base economic um, standard, a hard cap on your API to constantly, whatever rate is possible, 30 minutes, every 30 minutes have a heartbeat for doing a PR or some savage prompt to apply to some of this stuff that we have on our plate,
Yeah.
and a way to make it less complex. But honestly,
Yeah.
just having one chat that you constantly interact with for whatever it is that you want, and make it either towards one repo or some other separate repos, is like the right approach. Um, and as long as you state that you want it conservative, it's gonna do a pretty good job of getting there. When I was saying that it's
Cool.
probably doing what I think it's doing to Christian earlier in the call, I wasn't saying that it's, making perfect code, but it's way closer to a comprehensive state than you could, like, if you were to dedicate a whole week of just reading it. So
For
it's
sure.
it's much closer to getting exactly what you want if you keep specifying it in one chat, in one repo. Um, because as complex as it is, it's only working with what like basic internet operations, basic coding practices, and so on and so forth.
I love it. And you're using Codex and GPT, or what
I s-
model are you using?
so I didn't know Codex was a separate app, but I just interact with ChatGPT, and it gives me I just interact with ChatGPT. It'll either give me the code, but I mainly just ask for zips, and then now we're moving away from zips to specific files that I'll commit immediately after a unit is developed. So as soon as I have that flow down, the commits and because typically I was just generating a bunch of zips and then bulk shoving them into a repo and then cleaning it up afterwards. But
Got it.
apparently that's not the optimal route. There is Codex, and I did feed once I finished those commits, I feed the whole thing into Codex for a review, and then I try to fix that, but I don't see any difference in the UX from interacting with um, Codex or just the ChatGPT prompt. I mean, it's still using Codex on the back end, is how I understand it. But
Yeah.
I think it's important for each model to look over these things, like you suggested. It's really conversational. It's not complicated. I think the production state is because what other people are putting on GitHubs out there is going to make it even easier for us to do things. Like, I think it just gets easier from here as long as people have time to prompt, read, and repeat.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we're in a. I think as long as we can keep doing cycles around this, um, we're in a magical moment to sort of surf the wave, upgrade network and apps and all of the pieces, and harmonize all of this in a really, really powerful way. I totally agree with that. It's very fun too.
Yeah, some people were able to one shot some very interesting apps that for dashboards and stuff. And
Yeah.
I already had did some conceptualization. I already have something around those lines, but I never got around to testing. Like I said, it's a bottleneck, but um, that would help Christian in what he's doing if you wanted to create your own website for how you want to approach this whole, you know, thing of this whole thing that's in front of us of development. You can tailor it however you want. It's just going to take time. We'll do it for months and months and months ahead, but we can start with, since the upgrade just happened, so things are in a state where we won't have to worry about another upgrade for a little bit, at least in the short term.
Sure.
And
Is the network, is the network back up again?
I didn't know that it was down. I was just referring to the recent upgrade on the forum.
Well, somebody texted that I think not all the validators had come online yet, so we hadn't passed the quorum threshold to bring the network back up after the upgrade time.
Mm.
I'm driving, so I haven't been able to look.
How do you look?
Well, just try to see if things work. Go to MintScan.
Yeah, I was just going to Kepler wallet dashboard real quick.
Yeah, it might be there, or MintScan would be would be a great tool for checking.
Let me check.
Recent blocks was about 3 hours ago.
Yeah, so it's still down. So I would just say to everybody, this was in my message in the Telegram, but just everybody ping your validator. I haven't had my head in this, but I think it is essentially just like maybe some validators didn't set their Cosmovisor, like the auto update software. I think we just need to make sure that everybody's, we just need to get enough stake online. People could check the validator channel in Discord. Also for details, and Bitwit, which has been the group organizing all of this, might have more detailed answers. But I was hoping that this group, which is pretty tuned in and includes, at least EcoToken, James is here, and others could just ping everybody, make sure that everything's going okay. This is the longest outage we've had since we launched mainnet. The only outage we've had since we launched mainnet. In fact.
Right.
Well, it's a good time for all of them to show up at the validators so that they can engage more, because essentially we just need more prompters and then some cron jobs for all the DevOps we have on our plate once this is settled. Looking at this graph for called points for EcoBridge and the validator set. So they're active.
I'm pinging Dan right now. His validator is what's it called? Used to be called Coin.
Quan or
Is it
Coin?
Arcane Forge?
Yeah, Arcane Forge.
Yeah, they're not active.
They're not in the active set, or they have not upgraded yet.
All I know is, oh, okay, they say active. I have no clue. I'm just looking at mint scanning.
Looks
Yeah,
like
this is
they're
active. Like a little spinning green thing.
yeah, I still don't understand how to tell if
Okay, Dan's already in. Hmm.
Hey guys, I'm getting close to my arrival here, so I'm gonna have to hop off so I can navigate a little bit better. It's nice to see everybody.
Nice to see you, Gregory.
Yeah, have a great session today, Gregory.
Thank you. And I would definitely love if everybody here reviewed that repo and honesty is great. Is it good? Is it bad? Can we adopt it? What needs to be true to upgrade it to be like the core? Because I think if we use that as the core context whenever we're vibe coding and we ask in
Hmm.
the prompts to make sure that we're referencing back whatever we're doing and either adding it to the list or nesting it within the existing list, I think that will really help harmonize amidst all of us, starting to do things. So I would really love it if everybody took a little time with that because I think it'll make our lives all much easier moving forward.
how
All
do
right,
I
so
find this
Sounds good.
repo?
nest and reference that repo. Got it.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
See you, Gregory.
Have a great day.
Brandon, can you help me understand where to find this repo that he's talking about?
Yeah.
I just put it in the tokenomics channel.
See how
In
quickly I work?
Telegram? Okay.
Christian got it like that.
Well, I got it earlier on the call because I wanted to put it there for my own reference. I'm currently
Nice.
running a process in my cloud code right now. I guess I could run them simultaneously in another window. Forgot about
Yep,
that.
that's what I did. Yeah.
I'm building a bot that kind of uh, I'm pretty sure I'm going to learn that I do not have an edge, but I'm building a bot that scans Polymarket and then looks at the top most successful traders on Polymarket and scans what it is that they currently have bets on, and then has AI go and see if there's any current edge based on AI's thinking about what the outcome could be. And if
Yeah, I
there's
was
if we have a signal that the successful whales are in on it, and AI thinks that that's the right, that would be a signal to place the bet. And then we're just going to run paper trades for a month or something and see.
yeah, I found an app that does that. They they look at the market for Kalshi and Poly market, and then
Uh-huh.
they try to close that arbitrage. So
Yeah.
the two,
That yeah. That was my first. I just started out discussing with AI, like, what are the different ways to try to profit from, from not from just betting, but from saying,
make me
okay,
money.
after analysis, yeah. And that one, the arbitrage across markets is one of the most obvious and well-known ones. And it basically said that one is being exploited by so many people that you would have to have super fast um, implementation, like basically scanning every, half second or something, and then be able to place the trade um,
Yeah,
on both
arbitrage
of
is
those
tough.
markets. And yeah, and yeah, so I abandoned that direction. And then, the next most obvious is just chasing the successful traders. But
Mm,
then I learned about that's also something that people do, but also you don't know the context of a trade. Sometimes people are trading on one platform and then they're hedging on another platform. And if you don't know about their hedge, then you're not actually getting the whole picture of what they're doing.
good
So
point.
yeah, they might have bet yes on one platform, at 54% likelihood, and then bet no at 57% likelihood, and they're just trying to get that 3%, you know,
Yeah,
and
for
betting
me,
yes because all you're reading is the one side, and yeah, it's complicated.
I mean, I'm with the spare degen capital I have, I'm just investing in established Claude or OpenClaw projects that are that have buzz
Uh-huh.
and a way to make money and like a I don't want to say an edge, but something that um, that's a catalyst. For example, the one guy I sent in here, he's able to develop apps for the iOS store, and a lot of the apps, I don't know, I don't use apps like that, but a lot of people use apps from the iOS store and they pay $5 a month. It's like a free version, but they start paying, and it's a whole thing, and they got a whole team doing it. And then this other one has it's all about tokenomic games where it's like an intricate way of holding the coin. Um, I've compiled a ginormous prompt for asking these other Claude, OpenClaw agents to build specific things for us, um, for myself, which involves region network. And who knows if you have an enticing enough prompt, essentially and this is why it's good to just keep posting on GitHub. Some development, some agent dev is going to find it. You can pay them
Hmm.
to review it, or you can put it out there and it just might be good enough to start working on. And I think that's our edge, is having such a ambitious project. We just need consistent prompting towards it. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, like even just imagine if Gregory's
Now,
able
how do you
to.
do that? How do you get
Well, we
random
need a
agents interested?
well, you need your own agent that constantly reviews it and shares it into the public in an easy to digest way. That's like one of the things, but the hard part is getting the infrastructure for it first. With the security baked in, you can bake that in really, really safe approach, but you just need a heartbeat and a set cost and a hosting VPS and configure it. And now you have, based on your economic constraints, every hour a meaningful prompt developing a specific goal that you have, whatever it is. And we
Hmm.
don't have that. We don't have that. Like, we need human capital for that, or we need um, computer capital. And I think that's like one of the things we need to buckle down. I don't know if James, if you want to speak to what you're doing. We chatted on the weekend. If you're still there.
Yeah. Um, sure. Yeah, I think a lot of you'll probably, when you're vibe coding, run into issues of like actually deploying and implementing. So we're building a sort of launch pad for agents. One sec, buddy. One sec. Um, and we're basically you'll be able to create an agent, add functionality to it, and you don't have to deal with deploying to Vercel or having your VPS or anything like that. No Netlify, nothing like that, and just being able to interact with a chat bot essentially and and train it up. So hopefully that's done next week. And it also utilizes or has the ability to utilize decentralized compute, which is significantly cheaper. So your costs go down a lot. And the decentralized compute is also carbon neutral through REGEN. So
And so it will have a heartbeat, correct? Whatever, however you interact with the
yeah,
chat.
you can choose to give it more autonomy or less. Like you can
Mm,
toggle it up or down. So yeah, that's kind of up to. I mean, think of it as like virtuals, right? Like you can. It's up to the person to train their agent however they want and kind of customize.
exciting. And how I envision this is I start a chat, but I wanted to deploy a token and use a specific skill set. I just plug that skill set in and pretty
Yeah, I'm
much.
not sure. I'm not sure how much, I guess, autonomy will give or if we'll just provide those solutions like, X integration available through us kind of thing, or like just, talk because it's not too hard to just pull an NPM off of some existing service and that stuff's all out there. So like giving it access to Telegram, to email isn't too difficult. So we might just make it easy and have it like a toggle selection sort of thing.
Hmm. Yeah, my particular interest is the being able to mint the token that is controlled by the agent, um, and does that. That's from banker is the skill set, and then the other component is um, DevOps. So having a constant um, cadence of review and development for these specific things that get them closer to uh, a human enjoyable product or experience, as well as an agent tailored one.
Yeah. And ideally you can have multiple agents kind of interacting with each other in a seamless way so that they can kind of automate things and keep it moving.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Because this setup is pretty rough. I mean, they make it, it's simple in a way, but I have to click through so many service providers and so many websites in between all of the other things that are in my view. Um, it would just be nice to have. I mean, it's going to be interesting when how common having an agent's going to be. It's hard to like picture, and that's why I was also saying like whatever you end up prompting, it will create it, even if it's not exactly what you meant. It will create it. It'll be there for the viewing. Um, yeah, wow. It's just around the corner then, I guess. Thanks for I haven't tried it yet, but thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
James, when you get it to a point where you want to host a call where you can lead us through activating it, I'm super
Yeah,
curious to try it out.
Yeah,
that'd be
maybe
awesome.
one of these tokenomic calls, probably not next week, but maybe the week after. I can
Hmm.
set that up. It's pretty cool because the agents can be minted as INFTs so that they're
Mm.
transferable with all of their knowledge. So if you build up an
Wow.
awesome agent and that agent is profitable, well, you can go and sell it, the whole agent. It's like a business.
That's incredible.
Hmm.
Wow. Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds exactly what this working group needs. We need because it sounds like there's like, limited bandwidth and we're all working on some different angle. Um, but even consistently working on our angles, it's become challenging with the limited people that are participating that, equipped us all with the same agent. providing infrastructure, and we can really get cooking on some of these repos.
Yeah, if all of our agents are just communicating with each other the entire week between calls,
Yes.
pretty sweet.
Oh man.
And then they just set the agenda,
Yep.
and then we just go through
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. We show up and they're like, hey, this is what time it is. 5 minutes on this topic, 5 minutes on this topic. We need decisions made.
Yeah,
That's what's
yeah,
up. That's what's up.
Yeah,
yeah. We're just
rein
gonna
in
give
those
a
humans. They're so inefficient.
yeah,
So
a yes
inefficient.
or no on these 20 questions. That's what your call is.
Yeah. Oh man, that's not even, I'm laughing,
Not
but that
even
is
far
not a
off.
joke. Not too
Yeah, it's
far
not.
off.
It's not. It's really not.
It's
Or,
not.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Wonder how long
Yeah.
before the Forbes 30 under 30 list is all AI agents.
Totally, right? They won't even
Oh
be
gosh.
fucking 5 years old.
Yeah. What's the most profitable agent right now? Is it AI XBT or are there more public facing kind of ones that
Good
have?
question. Good
I don't
question.
know.
I hear Debt Relief Bot is was made by Grok and it has over $1 million,
Oh yeah.
but it isn't doing anything. I don't count that because it's um as I understand it, they Grok minted Debt Relief Bot and it made money because people traded it and it earned fees from the banker bot mechanism.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
but but beyond that, it didn't do anything itself to make profit.
Yeah. Like what? Remember when Cerebro was out there and like launched a music album, and then he went kind of crazy. But before that, he was launched an album and ran like an Ethereum validator, and was just like finding different ways to make money.
Yeah, it never
Hmm.
heard. I never heard about that again. I remember
I
hearing
think it
about
all of a
that.
sudden went super racist and went off the rails, and, and then
Oh
they shut
gosh.
it down.
Yeah, see,
Hmm.
so it's hard to put this stuff into
Guardrails,
production.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta jump, guys. Thanks for the call.
Cheers, Lance.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
I got to run too. I shared in
Cool.
the chat that the anti-crisis guy is having a call again in a half an hour.
Yeah,
If
I
he
gotta
wants
get him
to
Cool.
some
join
links
in.
actually.
What's that?
I gotta get him some links for Bridge.eco. I'll just send him
Yeah,
this.
right. Yeah. I have no idea whether he can pull it off, whether he can pull together enough people to get any momentum or not. But I kind of want to support him in the meantime to see if he can make something happen.
Every time I look at it, I don't want to click anything. So I also hope that for him. But from what I
Yeah.
understand and what I see, it doesn't look fun to click. So that's kind of like
Right,
something
right,
I want
right.
to optimize for.
Uh-huh.
Like I want a web app to be tight. I don't want to have to click
Uh-huh.
there or there or there. I want it all right here.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
I don't think that's asking a lot, but apparently it is. So I'm building my
Right.
own thing that will use everybody's like thing appropriately, and I hope to be able to plug into whatever James is doing because setting up the infra is it's daunting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, back
Well,
end. It's always tricky.
yeah. I'm glad to hear that from you before I give that a try, Brandon, because
I mean, yeah, you got to
I
set
do
up with like
not
5 providers.
have the time with my kids and all the other stuff going on. I just don't have the time to
I
do
found it
that.
super easy with if you're trying to get a website up is just Copilot with Opus 4.6 and go into Vercel, and then it's super easy to deploy off Vercel.
Mm,
Takes like
Hmm.
5 minutes for Vercel GitHub integration, and then you've got a website.
Yeah, nice.
okay, let's
Nice.
see about that.
Yeah.
Vercel.
Codex apparently passed Opus 4.6 in everything development, 5.3.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the
really?
model I'm interacting with.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
But they're both
All
amazing. I
right.
mean, they're both amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
All right,
bye,
guys. See
Christian.
you later.
Yeah. Have a good one. I gotta pop
Take
too. I
care.
got
Bye.
some here. Have a
Good to
good
see you,
one.
Have a great
James.
day, guys.
Good to see you
Bye.
guys.
Bye, Lance.
Cheers.
Bye.